Okay, it looks like we are live, and we're going to have a really cool show. We're going to be talking about the Grand Seiko and the amazing 9F. Yes, it's quartz movement, the amazing 9F, and there's a look at it, and it is really fantastic. I didn't learn about this until Steve told me about it when I first met him at Little Treasury Jewelers. And then I kind of dismissed it, and I'm like, oh, I have no interest in the quartz. And then now the more I've learned about it, it's been like quite an eye-opening experience. So let me pull up the stream here. Oh, we got a bunch of folks in the house. Carlos is in the house. Blue Shirt Buddha's in the house. Our Wag's in the house. We're starting a couple minutes early just to give folks a little time to come in. And there you go. And Steve is going to be with us here momentarily. Oh, he's calling on the phone. Oh, let's see here if I can answer it over here. Okay. Let's see what happens. Okay, there's Steve. Let me get the headset on. Hold on, Steve, because I won't be able to hear you until I get the headset set up here. This is going to be a really cool show because we've had a lot of questions. I don't know what's happened lately, but I've had a lot of questions about the 9F movement watches. So let me cut to Steve. Hello, Steve. You're on the air.
Hey, can you hear me?
I can, absolutely.
Okay, sound is correct this time, I hope.
And I'll tell you, the picture looks fantastic.
Well, I have the professional camera set up that you've instructed me on, and seems to be working.
It looks pretty good right now. You look sharp and very dapper today.
Okay.
I like that tie.
Well, thank you.
I'm going tieless right now. I'm wearing a golf shirt. It's a little bit warm here today, and I'm too cheap to run air conditioning, so that's how that works.
A little out of character there, but that's okay.
Well, it's summertime, so that's what. Well,
I'll carry the torch.
Spring, but it's warm enough to be summer. So there's that. So what do you have? What do you have today? We're going to talk about these really cool 9F Grand Seiko movement watches, correct?
Right. I'm going to show, I think it's about 9 pieces, and we can discuss them. I have them organized by movement, and so we can start off if you'd like. I've got to switch cameras.
Okay. So Steve is in motion as usual, making things happen, wheeling and dealing. I called him earlier, and he had a customer he was dealing with. So because he provides really great service, and so people like to do business with Steve. littletreasury.com. The link is in the description. And we're starting out with a stunner right off here.
That's correct.
Now, I do want to let you folks know that the second hand always lines up perfectly with the hash marks, but on this video feed, sometimes it won't be. It depends on where it is around the dial. You see right there, it's lining up perfect right there, right now, or very close. It all depends on the camera angle. So that's the thing there. If you're looking at it straight on, then it's hitting right on the marker. And you notice it hits it and it just stays there. There's no backlash, which is a feature of that 9F movement. So tell us a little bit about this watch that's on screen.
Okay, this is the 9F62 movement, and it's in the SBGX 261, which is the smaller of the quartz watches. It's a really nice size for someone looking for a sub 40 piece. It's 37 millimeters by 10 millimeters, so it's not too thick. And those who are worried about the thicker automatics, this is really a nice piece.
37 by 10, that would make a great dress watch. Now, is that a screw-down crown on that piece or not?
No, it's not. I'll let you know when it is, but it's going to be in the sport collection, which comes a little bit later.
And this is more of an entry-level Grand Seiko, right?
It is. It is. Let me get the price on that. I got to change my setup a little bit here. Hang on.
And one thing about this movement is it is robust, folks. It's designed to go 50 years without having to be serviced, just because of the construction, the way the important parts of it are sealed away so that even when you open it up to replace the battery, no dust or anything gets into the important parts of the movement because it's sealed. And so it's a really cool
It's
feature.
multi-generational is how they bill it.
Yeah.
Unlike most quartz watches, which are pretty much throwaway after 10 years or so, if they make it that far.
Chi-Town, California is asking, is it available with a white dial?
Yeah, this is one of a series. There's a white dial. It's the SBGX 259.
Okay.
And there's a champagne dial of the same SBGX 263.
And they're the same price point?
2,200. Yeah, they're all 2,200.
2,200?
Yeah.
You get the finishing of a Grand Seiko, folks. You get the finishing, the detail, the quality of a Grand Seiko. You get stellar timekeeping, plus or minus 10 seconds a year. You get the durability of a 9F movement. That is fantastic, folks. That's all I can say. That's a fantastic deal. If you want a smaller watch to go on your wrist, there you go, folks. Everybody's been asking for a smaller Grand Seiko. 37 mils is a perfect size for a dress watch and for an all-arounder, really. Okay, what do we have next? Anything else on this one before we go to the next piece?
No, I think that's it. I'm going to bring up a limited edition piece.
Whoa.
And this is sort of the opposite end of the quartz.
Back it away a little bit from the... Well, okay, maybe that's better. Yeah, there we go. Focus is perfect right there.
Okay.
So, oh, my goodness, folks.
Yeah, this is the SBG V238. It's a little larger. It's 40 by 10, same thickness.
Mm-hmm.
And it's stainless with 18-karat gold bezel and accents. And limited edition, 600 pieces.
Okay.
And this is the 25th anniversary of the quartz movement, of the 9F movement piece. It's one of the two pieces.
That is gorgeous, and that's plus or minus 5 seconds a year, because you can see by the star there on the dial, that's denoting 5 seconds accuracy per year. And what's the price point on this puppy?
This is 4,800.
4,800. So there you go. You're stepping up. Now, does this have a screw-down crown?
No.
Okay.
It's going to be in the sport collection.
Okay. All right.
So beautiful piece, though, and the bracelet's a little different than the prior piece. The other was just a 3-link, and this is a 5-link with a polished at 2 and 4. So a little more dressed up. And this is the only piece in my current collection. I just want to point out it's the GS44 case with the beautiful geometric surfaces, classic.
Yeah, and this one, and Carlos is asking about the star again. The star denotes 5 seconds a year accuracy, and so it's that special movement that's, of course, the normal ones are 10 seconds a year. So, either way, you're very, very accurate. But this one is even more accurate than the 10 second per year, down to 5 seconds per year accuracy.
I'm going to turn this over.
Amazing.
See if I can make it work. So this has a protective film on it, and we may not be able to see this too well. Well, not too bad.
But at least you can see that it does have a display case back. So, if you buy that watch and you own it, you'll be able to look at that gorgeous movement. You'll be able to peel that blue off of there and look at that gorgeous movement. And it is a stunning-looking movement. We'll show another picture of it here after we finish showing the watches. And our WAGs, frankly, Craig, Seiko ought to give you any Grand Seiko of your choice free of charge for all the marketing you do on their behalf. Our WAGs in the house. Well, there you go. Let them know. Let them know that, our WAGs. There you go.
Okay.
And let's see. We have another comment. Does Grand Seiko have any model ever with perpetual calendar?
Not yet.
Not yet. Stay tuned. And here's a comment. Tomorrow I receive my new Grand Seiko GMT Quartz 9F86. So we got a customer that's receiving his tomorrow.
Okay.
Way to go.
All right. take this out and move on to the next piece.
Now, are you manually focusing?
I am. Well,
Okay. You're
sort of.
trying to. Okay. All right,
That's
there
good
we
enough.
go. Wow, is
Yeah,
that
pretty good.
champagne dial you're talking about?
It is. That's the SBGV 205. Okay,
They're
that's
asking about the links in the bracelet, screws or pins?
this has screws. Can you see the screws?
I think all the stainless steel ones have screws, correct? All the Grand Seikos that are stainless? Yeah,
I
I
believe
see the
so.
screws. Yeah, I think they are. I think any of these stainless steel ones have screws. You can
Yeah.
confirm that before you actually buy it, but I think they are.
Yeah.
I sent you an email with photos, Craig, 30 minutes ago. Yes, I did get those photos, and we're going to talk about that watch. We've talked about that model before, and it is a stunner. Jacco, Jacco. And yes, he made a good move with the blue dial GMT. We'll talk about that later. But this is a stunner. Now, what are the dimensions on this one?
This is 40 by 10, 10.4.
And what's the price point on this one?
This is 3,100.
And try that crown. Are you sure that crown's not screw down? Try it. We're doing something live here on TV, folks. Live on TV. It's not?
Tis not. Tis not.
So you got to step up a little bit higher. Okay. Well, I'll tell you what, though. I mean, that is a stunner. It really is for an all-around watch to not worry about, to just know it's going to be accurate. Excuse me.
Okay. So, next piece.
Okay, so that's similar to that other black dial one, but with a different case.
No, it's actually
bigger.
the same case.
No, I mean the first one you showed with the black dial, the 36 mil. This has a different case.
Yeah.
This has a different case.
This is the classic GS44 case.
Yeah.
And this is similar to the champagne dial I just showed you.
Yeah.
Same dimension, same price. It's the SPGV 207. Okay.
Yes.
And these are all part of what's called the Heritage Collection now.
Now, how thick is this watch?
That's 10.4.
10.4 mils. So all of these are nice and slim, folks. If you want a nice slim watch you can wear under any dress cuff, this is really the way to go.
So I got another piece in this series, and let's get them up. There we go.
Somebody asked about the spring drive. That's what I'm wearing on my wrist right now. We'll talk about that here after we show off these 9F watches.
And do you get the blue on this? Oops.
It's not really coming through as blue. It's kind of
a beautiful blue. It's a beautiful blue.
Is it like a dark blue?
Yeah, it's a dark blue.
Yeah,
you get a little bit.
We're seeing a little bit of it there. Yeah, it's almost like a midnight blue.
Yeah, typical Grand Seiko. It can look black in certain light conditions. Can look blue sunbursty, but it's not a true sunburst. Really beautiful piece. So this is same dimensions, same series, SBGV 239 on this one. And they're all 3,100. The last, these three I've shown you.
Stunning piece.
So
you all asked about 9F movement watches, and you're getting them. We're showing them off here, folks, live. So
these are the ones I've shown you are 9F82 movements.
Okay.
And the first watch is the 9F62. And as I understand it, the only difference is size.
Okay.
Okay. So I don't know if this is the one you were talking about. This is the blue Sport.
No, the one that he bought is the The one with the
Oh,
bracelet.
yeah, got it. GMT.
Yeah, the GMT was the one that
Yeah.
that he's got coming tomorrow, and I'll show pictures. He sent me some pictures. I'll show those after we wrap up.
Okay.
But this is a stunner here.
It is.
And what's the size of that one?
Yeah.
And that's got loom, folks. You want one
Yeah.
with loom?
This is 40 by 11, 11.8.
So
it's
that
somewhat thicker.
looks like it's really that classic case, also, right?
Well, I think it's a riff on the classic
So
case.
it's a little bit different. Okay.
It's folded up, modernized up.
Gotcha. Okay.
Okay. So, but it's very striking.
Now, how
It's on-
thick is this one?
That is 11.8.
So it's a little bit thicker. It's still
Yeah.
under 12, so I would call that still, you could go under a dress cuff. Now,
Yeah,
will folks
it's
be
very
able to
reasonable.
see these watches if they come to your special event? Tell us about the special event coming up.
Okay, on May 9th from 4 p.m. till 8 p.m., we have a Grand Seiko Basel World 2019 preview, we're calling it. We'll have all of the prototypes of the 2019 pieces here in the store for people to see and touch and put on. And we'll also have the Crador Master Collection, which is the collection of really handmade, extremely limited pieces, including the H2, EICHI, spelled H-E, but it's pronounced H. And they have a sonnery, they have a minute repeater, and several other pieces that are extremely beautiful, extremely rare, and not often seen. So we were proud to be the first store to show them in the U.S. 2 years ago. We had them here for a week, and so they're reappearing, and very high horology, beautiful, beautiful pieces.
So, folks, you want to be there. You want to be there for the event. Little Treasury just put the link in the chat. You want to be there. That's all I'm saying. Okay, what do we have next?
Okay. Next is a new piece that we just got in, and this is a companion piece to the watch I just showed, except the prior one is a limited edition of 1,000 pieces, excuse me. 1,200 pieces.
Okay.
No, I'm wrong again. Back to the 1,000 pieces.
1,000 pieces. Okay, and you've got one of them right there.
Yeah, and no, that was the blue one. This gray is open production,
Okay.
but it's brand new, and the gray isn't coming through. It's probably coming in a little younger.
I'll tell you though, I like it. I do, and I'll tell you what's really cool about this, folks, is you're seeing that Grand Seiko, they're giving you a lot of options here, which is really good, I think. I think it's nice that they're starting to think outside the box a little bit and really give you some really cool options. And this one has loom on it, like the other one that we just saw, which is a big plus for an all-arounder. If you want an all-arounder, you kind of want that loom. This is a gorgeous watch. I like the previous one would be between the two that I would pick, but this is also pretty stunning. Now, is there any kind of a bracelet option that they could get for this if they wanted a bracelet, or is that a no-go, no-fly zone?
Unless it comes in a kit, which a couple of the limited editions have, with a bracelet and then a couple of straps in the kit. They don't provide it per se. And to be honest, they're not. If you call and what bracelet would fit on this, it's just not something they even want to address.
Yeah, it's like you buy it the way it is, and that's the way it is. Yeah. So, but the good thing is you've got watches with bracelets too. So you've got all these bases covered. Somebody is asking, are these PVD or gold? What's PVD? I don't even know what PVD is.
Oh no, these are. Maybe you're seeing yellow or whatever. These are stainless, what I've shown you.
Everything's stainless steel so far.
Except for the two-tone second one I showed you.
And here's another comment. Those 9F dress Grand Seikos are as thin as 10 millimeter. Exactly. That's the neat
Yes.
thing. They're thin enough to do the job. Absolutely. All right. What's next?
Okay.
Steve, live from Little Treasury Jewelers. That's the deal here. He's live as can be. Steve's the real deal.
Okay.
He's in
I've
motion.
shown this before
Mm-hmm.
in the context of our GMT show that we
Yep.
did.
Yep.
So this is the SBGN 007 limited edition, 1,200 pieces. It also is a anniversary limited edition celebrating 25th of the 9F. We talked about one earlier that was a dress watch with the same.
That is just stunning.
mission.
That, I mean, you just full stop. That's just a stunning watch, and with that green dial and the gold. I mean, even the gold 24-hour hand.
And that has the star, so it's 5 seconds a year.
Yep.
And
Now, what's the thickness on this one?
this one is 12.2 millimeters.
12.2 because it's a GMT. But again,
Yeah.
that's very acceptable. That's right where you need to be for a dress watch to be wearing for, under a shirt cuff. That's thinner than a day date, just so you guys know. Carlos says, nice. Yeah, Carlos, that's a beauty. That's a beauty. We got to get Carlos to come up to the party. We got to rope him in to coming up to the party. We're going to feed you, Carlos. You're gonna have a good time. Come on up.
So if you're coming in from out of town, let us know. We'll try to take special care of you.
Yep.
So,
and the Wrench Gang says they're going to be there taking care of security, so security's not going to be an issue. So come on up, Carlos. No problem.
Very good. So, lovely piece. I like this personally. And finally,
You've probably kept that hidden. That's why you haven't sold it. You're probably keeping that hidden so that it can end up in your personal collection.
Well, I have a predilection for green, and so this fits that pretty well.
I don't blame you.
Okay, so my last piece to show is this guy, and how's that?
There you go, folks. That's the sister to the one that that our subscriber here in the house has coming tomorrow. He's got the one coming with the blue dial tomorrow, and that's the
one you like, isn't it?
Oh yeah, and this is the cousin to that. This is the black dial with the orange. That looks stunning, folks. That is amazing. They got it right.
39 by 12.1, so it's a little smaller than the anniversary edition I just showed you.
That's That's perfect dimensions for an all-around travel watch.
Mm-hmm.
An all-around heavy use travel watch. It's got the loom on it. It's got that rugged 9F movement. Now this one does have a screw-down crown.
It does.
So this one, folks, that's a heavy use watch there. If you're going to take the watch on the road traveling, you got to have a heavy use watch. And there you go. That's what you got right there. And it's gorgeous.
And interestingly, the prior one, the green one, SBGN 007, does not have a screw down crown.
Which one?
The green one, the green GMT.
Okay, gotcha.
So the blue and the black do, the limited does not. So there are a number of, if you really dig into it, a good number of differences between these GMTs. And of course, the blue is just the same as this black one.
And David asked who's getting the 9F. We'll talk about that here as soon as we finish up with Steve. I'll show you the email. He sent some photos of the watch he's getting. So we'll talk about that, absolutely. R.J. Lane says, Craig, enough already. Just get it. R.J. Lane in the house, calling Craig out. Well, there you go. Well, I measure 7 times and cut once. I study the heck out of these watches before I take the leap. And when I take the leap, you can bet your bottom dollar it's going to be a fantastic piece. It's going to be a stunner because I'll wear the puppy. That's the deal here. We don't put them. We don't put them in a storage locker. We wear them. Love the green dial. Paul says, RWAG says, David, looking forward to it. Okay. So, that is fantastic. A fantastic setup there today. He's putting the green one back on. When he gets it focused in, I'll cut. There we go. There's the green dial again. And you got to see these watches in person, folks. You got to come out to the party and see these watches in person, because as stunning as they look right here, they're 10 times that in person. I mean, it's just amazing when you see these watches and actually hold them in your hand. The quality that you're getting for the price point is, I mean, second to none. You can't match the quality you're getting on these for the price point. So, what other words of wisdom do you have?
Well, I think just remind people about the characteristics of these beauties. They have some unique technology. They have this twin pulse feature where every half second there's a pulse that moves the hands. Because the hands are so heavy, they need this additional torque provided by their technology. Almost no other quartz watches have such heavy, solid hands as Grande Seiko. There's a regulation switch in the movement where, over time, if characteristics of the mechanical parts change, settle in, it can be adjusted by a watchmaker. It's unique to Grande Seiko quartz watches. They have that sealed cabin that you can see when you see the back. So that the battery is isolated. R.J.
Lane says, these live shots look so much nicer than the GS website. I don't know that I can hold out any longer. That blue dial GMT is such a winner. R.J. Lane, call Steve. He can hook you up.
Yep. As soon as I get off the air, I can handle you.
Give him a call. He can hook you up. Yep. I put the link to his website there in the video description. And I think Little Treasury's in the house now. Maybe they'll put, and Steve at littletreasury.com is the email. Steve at littletreasury.com is the email. And here's another comment that GSGMT would be fantastic if you are on the road or in the air and you aren't moving around enough to keep an automatic wound. Well, and the neat thing about the 9F is it's so rugged. And 50 years, I mean, without having service, you're not going to have any service costs on this watch. You're just going to replace the battery every 3 years, and that's a piece of cake. And so it's going to be dirt cheap to own, and you know it's going to be spot on accurate. When you're traveling, you don't want to have to mess around with, is my watch accurate or whatever. You just want to just know that you're good to go. And that's a good point. If you take it off wrist and you know, you're swimming or whatever you're doing and you want it off wrist, then you don't have to worry about if it's going to stop or not and all that nonsense. You don't have to have those worries when you're traveling. So other things to worry about. So I think it's a great travel watch. It's an all-around watch, period. So Carlos says, I will not be there. Sorry. Come on, Carlos.
What's the matter?
Come on, Carlos. Come on up.
We're serving Japanese whiskey.
There
It'll be great.
Japanese whiskey and sushi and some more stuff. And they even put your phone number there in the chat. There you go. They put Steve's phone number in there in his email. All right, come back on camera, Steve.
Okay, let me see if it works.
So that's Steve at Little Treasury Jewelers email address. Steve at littletreasury.com. Steve at littletreasury.com is his email.
I'm back.
Steve is back in the house. What do you have on wrist?
My usual Brabant with a super hardened steel.
So
I reserve my Grande Seiko for when I'm not going in and out of my metal edge showcases.
So that one you can bang around quite a bit and it holds up bulletproof. Does the 9F have a way to alert low battery? Yes, it skips 2 seconds, right? It goes 2 seconds when it's low?
I believe it has that feature. I haven't had it long enough.
I think it's 2. I know it skips. I know it skips. I think it goes 2 seconds. And that tells you that the battery's getting low, and then you deal with it. So a Grande Seiko with a super accurate movement, zero maintenance concerns, and no need to keep it wound is as close to having your cake and eating it as you're going to get. Well, there you go. That's a very good
Yeah,
comment. That's
very
very,
true.
very astute. So, what else do you have before you take off and get back to all your customers there?
I think that's about it. I'll save something for next time. I hope you've enjoyed it. These are fabulous pieces. I think a quartz is going to be in my future, not too far out, too.
Yeah, and you can just grab it and put it on. You're good to go.
That's
You
right.
don't have to set the time. You don't have to set the date. I mean, you just know
Hmm.
you pick it up. You don't even have to look at it. Just pick it up and put it on and go. You know
Correct.
you're spot on. That is kind of cool, I'd say.
Yeah,
What are the waterproof specs on the blue GMT? That's a 100-meter watch,
it
as
is.
far as I know.
100 meter.
I don't think you're going to have any problems with that one at all. It's got the screw-down crown and all that.
Hmm.
I think you're going to be good to go with that one. And Carlos says, thank you, Steve. And Vegas says, thanks, Steve. He's part of the wrench gang.
Yeah.
And okay. Well, thanks
Thank you
again
all for watching. I'm going to hop off.
Yep,
If anybody wants to call, I'll be here for another couple hours.
there you
And
go.
look forward to hearing from you.
Give Steve a call. He'll work with you. Thanks
Yep.
again, Steve.
Okay. Thank you, everybody.
There you go. Talk about somebody that's in motion. That's the Stevester. And here's another look at that, what that movement looks like. I mean, that's pretty stunning. Pretty freaking stunning. And we're going to show that email that we were talking about here from my subscriber. If I can dig it up here. Okay, we got a new message here, it looks like. This is a correct photo from the watch I get tomorrow. Well, that looks like the orange one, Jayco. So it looks like you're getting the one with the black with the orange. Or is that the blue? I can't tell from the photo which one you're getting. But here, I got a better photo here. Just pull it up. This is the one with the blue. We've talked about this watch before. It's just stunning. The case design, the shape of the case, everything about it is stunning. And the one with the black dial is stunning as well, with the orange GMT hand. Either are stunning. There's the one with the orange. So, I mean, you can't go wrong with either. I would probably go with the blue. I have to see it in person, but for me, I think it'd be the blue. Let's see what else we got. 3,200 for that GMT Grand Seiko. That's the watch for you, Mr. Ship. There you go. Hello. Looks like I'm late. Thomas is in the house. Better late than never. I'm watching for Grand Seiko to release a hand-wound spring drive with a snowflake dial and blued hands and a power indicator on the back. I hear you. I think they should start doing that more with the power indicator on the back. I think that's a good move. And I like the idea of making it thinner with that manual wind spring drive, getting them thinner. See, that's the thing about the 9F. It's nice and thin. And I know that they can make the spring drives thinner because some of the Cradors have spring drives that are thinner. So that might be in the offing too. I do like this watch. This is 14 mils, and I'll tell you, I wear it all the time, and it's super comfortable on wrist. Of course, it's a spring drive, and the same thing. I don't even think about this watch not being accurate. I don't even check the time anymore to see if it's accurate or not. I just know it is. I know it's like within a second, and that's good to know. And the other neat thing about this spring drive is I'm sure it will run decades without even having to open the case, without any servicing whatsoever. I'm sure it will run decades, 20, 30, 40 years. They're that robust. So they're no joke either. But they're more money, and it's a thicker watch. That's the downside than comparing it to this one here. Okay? That's a nice and thin watch. So there we go. I'll have more. I'll study it more. I'll be over there at Steve's place, and I'll take a close look at these puppies. Craig, why don't you own both the 9F GMT and your diver? That's a heavy-hitting mill. That's a possibility. That may happen. That may happen. That is a possibility. I've done sort of like that before. I had the 9F dress watch, and I had this. And the neat thing about the 9F is you can take it off wrist for a couple days. It doesn't matter. It's not going to stop, like the viewer pointed out. You can just grab it any time and put it on and go. So that's the advantage there. I don't like to use winders or any of that stuff. I'm not into all that stuff. So, and David agrees. David agrees. Okay, folks. So any other questions or comments before we wrap up the live stream? I'm trying to think what else I was going to... Oh, remember, if you're in the United States, madeinusaforever.com, madeinusaforever.com, not a paid advertisement. They didn't pay me anything to tell you that. But I like the fact that they're pushing Made in USA items. Carlos says, you have to see today's ID Guy video about Barra School and Nomis. Stunning. Okay. I'll have to check it out. The 9Fs are tempting from Peter in the house. I think they're pretty cool. I like the whole concept of a movement that's extremely rugged, extremely well made, no servicing for 50 years. I think it's a pretty cool concept and dead accurate. People are like, oh yeah, I don't want a quartz watch. This is a pretty special quartz watch, so it's pretty freaking cool. Let me see what else I was going to show here before we wrap up. ID Guy, we've invited him to come on the show. He should join us on the show here more often. Here's the one that Steve showed before. There's the picture of the one that he showed with the blue dial in that show we did about the GMT. So there was that. Let's see what else. And again, I mean, here's another blue dial stunner. Yep, the good old Yacht Master. But look how much you got to pay. So there's that. So, Bow House, okay. If you want a Rolex and Grande Seiko rotation, then I could see having a 9F or spring drive sports watch and a classic line Rolex like Oyster Perpetual or Datejust. I think the Date 8 is the perfect one to rotate in. A Date 8, either a 36 mil or a 40 mil, and rotate that in with the Grande Seiko, with the diver. That would be a pretty good job to rotate in. And now both the 36 and the 40 mil both have 72-hour power reserve, so that's a big plus. Too bad Steve's shop is a little far away, about 6,000 miles, I guess. Peter says in the house, that's what they've got airplanes for. Go for the original Date 840. There you go, Thomas in the house. Yeah, Date 840 with the black dial, and rotate in, let's see here. Rotate that in with the Date 8. What do you think? That and the Date 8? Or the Date 8 and the diver? What do you think? Which would be a better rotation? The advantage to this one is if you left it off your wrist for a few days, it's not going to stop. Now this one, you have to. This has a 3-day power reserve. So, and if the Date 8 has a 3-day power reserve, then this winds up pretty efficiently. If you wear this sucker for like 6 hours, it pretty much winds up if you're active for 6 hours. So maybe that would be the way to go. Maybe that would be the way to go. Tell you what I'll do. Here's the deal. When Bitcoin hits 100,000, I'll lock and load on the Date 840. What do you guys think about that deal? Bitcoin's pumping right now, by the way, folks. I would say Date 8 and the diver, says Carlos. Date 8 and the diver. Let's take a closer look at the diver. See if we can get this on screen here. Oh, go to 2, go to camera 2. There we go. Whoops, get it in focus. Looks pretty cool. Looks pretty cool, I think, I'd say. If I had day date, I'd find it hard to rotate with anything. Jack Nicklaus style. He just Jack Nicklaus the day date 40. Just wear it all the time. Oh, there you go. I'll tell you, when I had the 18238, I always rotated it with, most of the time it was a GMT Master. I did have the Submariner for a while, and I had a Datejust for a while. But I always did rotate it with some kind of a sport watch. So when I knew I was going out and I was going to do something pretty heavy duty, pretty rugged, like working on a car or whatever, something where I'm really beating the watch around, I did take the day date off wrist and put on the GMT or whatever I was rotating with it. I did not Jack Nicklaus mine, I have to admit. I have to come clean about that. I did not Jack Nicklaus my day date. I wore it a lot, but I didn't Jack Nicklaus it. So I'd need my other watch is a day date t-shirt in Vegas, and Carlos is rocking a day date 40. He's Jack Nicklausing. Carlos, how often do you wear your other watches? Be honest here. Are you pretty much just wearing the day date all the time? Or are you rotating at all with that? I think it's time for another in-depth conversation about Bitcoin. I can summarize Bitcoin very easily. Let me reload this here. Okay, so here's the deal. Here's the deal about Bitcoin. The price of Bitcoin goes up, and the price of Bitcoin goes down. Okay, it goes up and it goes down. It goes up higher, and then it goes down. And then eventually it goes up higher, and historically it keeps making what we call higher highs, right? Now, will it do that again? Will it beat the previous highest high, which was 20 grand or whatever? Will it do that? Will history repeat itself? I think so. I'm holding on. Holding with a strong hand my Bitcoin. Almost never. I think that I only used no day date 3 times in 1.5 months. There you go. So he's pretty much wearing the day date 40. He's Jack Nicklausing the day date 40. I don't blame him. It looks gorgeous on his wrist. Peter in the house, how about the next combo, the Snowflake and the 9F GMT with the blue dial? I sold the Snowflake because it was kind of an in-between watch for me. It wasn't really thin enough to be used as a dress watch. It's about 12.5 or 12.6 mils, I think. When you get over 12, you're getting into that danger zone. And I think it's 41 mils if I remember correctly. So it's a little bit big. See, that's the neat thing about this one. This one it's 39 mils, so it's a little smaller overall, and it's much thinner. It's about 12 mils thick, 12.1, whatever, right? Right at 12. And so the Snowflake was just a little bit too big and thick. It didn't fit under my shirt cuffs well. I would have loved to have kept that watch. I liked a lot of things about it, but it was just a little bit too big. If somebody wanted an all-arounder and their shirt cuffs weren't quite as tight as mine and it worked for them, the Snowflake, it's a gorgeous watch. It really is. I'm not taking anything away from the Snowflake. It's a gorgeous watch, but for me, it just was a little bit too big, a little bit too thick, and a little bit too big overall to be to push into the dress watch purpose. Obviously, this is not a dress watch. This is sport all the way, right? But when we're talking about dress, the snowflake was a little bit too big. So, it's a great watch, though, Carlos. I love the Breguet diver that you have, too. Yeah, he has some nice pieces. Yes, I really love that. It has been my daily wear for around 10 years. Well, there you go. I tried Cheetown took the message, retracted the message about the snowflake. I was getting ready to read the snowflake. Put it back in there if you want me to read it. But it's supposed to be a kind of marine chronometer more than a diver. Okay. So we're going to wrap it here pretty soon. Pretty soon I'm going to wrap this puppy up, and I'm going to eat something. But it's been a good show. Steve had some beauties to show. The snowflake was too large for my wrist to be a dress watch. I prefer 40 millimeter under, except for Seiko divers. I agree, Chi. I agree. That's why I think that this one might be the sweet spot. At 39 mils, and at just 12 mils thick, that might be the sweet spot. I'll know when I try it in person. I got to try it on wrist and really know. Maybe Steve will have one there at the party. Maybe he'll have one. Have a good dinner tonight and an enjoyable evening. Let's wrap this puppy up. By the way, Craig is going to be a decamillionaire in Bitcoin. We'll see. We'll see what happens with Bitcoin. I like the whole concept of it, and I would love for it to become like a world reserve currency, a stable way for people to keep their, maybe a large portion of their wealth safe and away from the government and other entities that might want to take it away from them. I think it's a good thing. I think it's a good thing to be able to work and earn money or build up wealth and not have to always worry, is somebody going to come and take it away from me? That if you can take that worry away from people, I think that's a really cool concept. So I like that. I like that thought and that concept. I don't think when you work and you earn money, you build wealth or whatever, I don't think you should have to constantly defend it from people coming and trying to take it. I think you should be able to feel safe in what you've set aside, in your nest egg, if you will. But these days, if you've got the money and other assets like real estate, stocks, bonds, bank account, whatever, somebody gets a good lawyer and they go after you, they can go after the cash. And it shouldn't be that way. It shouldn't be that way. You should be able to set money aside somewhere safe. I think you should be able to do that. Yes, you should. So I like the whole concept of Bitcoin, that and the limited supply of it, where the government doesn't just keep creating more when they feel like it. I think that's pretty cool. Any thoughts on the Airstream brand? My wife's pushing the RV idea. RJ Lane. Airstreams are okay. Depends on what you're wanting to do. We should talk about that on some show. It really depends on what you want to do with your RV. If you're going to travel around a lot from one place to another and you're not staying in the same place very long, then you want something smaller, more fuel efficient and all that. If you're going to drive somewhere and stay there for weeks at a time, then you want more like a base of operations type of thing. I think a motor coach is the way to go. And my next motor coach is going to be a Prevost. Prevo is the way the most purists pronounce it. Prevost. Prevest. How do you spell Prevost? Prevost, I guess. Anyway, Prevost motor coach. That's what I would recommend. But they're big, and you can't take them everywhere. So it just depends on where you're going. If you want to go just from one place to another and have something that you can park anywhere and all that, get a Class B. Yeah, get an Airstream Class B. They're on a Mercedes chassis, Sprinter chassis, but they're very small, right? So you can only take so much stuff with you. You've only got so much room. So just like anything else, just like watches, it's all a compromise. One is good for one purpose, something else might be better for another purpose. But I wouldn't buy a typical RV, a plastic, fantastic, RV. Most of them are total junk. I would buy something on a Mercedes Sprinter chassis, like a Class B. They're pretty expensive, though, too. But if I was going to step up and get a bigger motor coach, what I'm looking at is a Prevost. A Prevost. Let's look at one. Let's look at one real quick before we wrap up the show here. We'll look at one that I would recommend. Let's see here. Let's see if I can find one here that we can recommend. What do you guys think? You think we can recommend this Prevost Liberty XL? There you go. Between the years of 1998 and 2000, those are the ones that I would focus in on, with no slide outs. They're still the riveted coach, so they're easier to fix if something does happen than the non-riveted ones. And some of the non-riveted ones had some leaking issues. So I like the riveted coaches. This one's $149,000. Okay, so let's go on through it here. And you want to get one that's in really great shape. Really well kept, garage kept, really great shape, because you don't want to buy somebody else's problems. You want to buy one that's jumping up and down, fantastic condition. That's what you want to do. You don't want to get a deal and save money and get a piece of junk. You want one that is gorgeous, that's been super well maintained. And you're going to see something here at the end that I'm going to point out to you that that you're going to really like. And this is like inside baseball stuff. But as you know, when I'm thinking about buying something, spending my hard-earned money, I research the heck out of it, up one side and down the other. I've interviewed and talked to a lot of people about these Prevost motor coaches, and I've done a lot of research, folks. So there's that. There's the rear compartment. Very elegant. Very comfortable. So there you go. And let's get on down here, because there's something I'm going to show you when we get down towards the end, because I'm guessing this one has the over-the-road air conditioning, because it's a Liberty and a lot of the Liberties did. But we will see when we get down to the end here. Okay. This is on Prevost Stuff, prevost-stuff.com. That's a good website to go to find used Prevost motor coaches. This is a 45-footer, of course. Plenty of storage. Again, no slide outs to fail and give trouble. Don't need that kind of nonsense. I really don't need that. Okay. Let's go on down here and see the really cool payoff shot. There it is, folks. You know what we're seeing there? Okay, if you guys are paying attention, what we're seeing there in the bottom right-hand corner, that huge compressor. See that huge compressor on the bottom right? I'll put my mouse on it right there. That's the compressor right there. That's telling you that this one has the over-the-road, the Prevost factory over-the-road air conditioning system, which is very robust. And you have to get it from the factory. If they install something similar to that, when the converter converts it, they buy the shell, the Prevost shell, and then Liberty, in this case, converted it to a mobile home, okay, motor coach. And so, but if they were to install like their own air conditioning system, it would have a smaller compressor. It would be nowhere near as robust as the Prevost factory over-the-road air conditioning. So that's what you want to get. You want to get one that has the over-the-road air conditioning system. So there you go. That's the Prevost. Let's see here. Yes, the glamping term was recently used at my house. Hey, it's cheaper than divorce, right? There you go. It may be cheaper than marriage counseling. Yeah, but if you buy the wrong RV, you all are going to be like, cussing at each other and stuff because it's going to break down every other stop down the interstate. You'll be pulling off and figuring out what's wrong. That's traveling like a rock star, says R.J. Lane. You don't need a house with that, says Carlos. Yeah, some people full-time and things like that. Now that would get the tongues wagging in the Caravan Club. Okay, the Caravan Club. There you go. All right, so there you go. That's my recommendation. You either buy a Class B on a Mercedes Sprinter chassis. Airstream would be fine. They convert Class Bs. Or you buy yourself a Prevost. That's what I would say. Let's see. A bad RV can be both a wallet and a marriage buster. I would think so. Yeah, I would not buy a typical RV. They're just a can of worms. My parents had several of them. I never had one. My first RV was a motor coach, was a Bluebird Wanderlodge, and it was rugged, and it lasted. I used it for almost 15 years. No issues, just normal maintenance. It was like a tank, built like a freaking tank, just like these are. These are an over-the-road motor coach designed to go millions of miles, carrying 70 people around. I mean, they're built to last, folks. They're no joke. They're just like this spring drive stunner here. They're no joke. They're built for heavy use, okay? Heavy use. Mike says, Craig, do you think you could ever go 100% RV as home base? If I was retired and I didn't have to be somewhere for business, yeah, I think it'd be kind of cool to do that for a while. My uncle did that for 10 years. He was retired, and his goal was to golf at as many different golf courses around the country as possible. And he full-time for 10 years, and every day he golfed at a different golf course for 10 years. And, of course, he didn't make a dent in the number of golf courses that are in this country. He still didn't golf them all, right? But he enjoyed doing that. And he made a point of every day he was at a different golf course golfing. So, yeah, I mean, and like I wouldn't mind. I would enjoy going around to all the national parks and doing some photography and hiking and stuff like that. And like just going from park to park. And keeping like a Prevost as a base of operations, and then towing behind it, a vehicle that I can go out and shoot out and do day trips out to different scenes around sites. Yeah, that would be cool. I could get into that for a while. I'd still keep one of my houses, though. I don't think I'd get rid of all the houses. I'd still keep a base of operations somewhere. I got too much stuff I can't take everything on the road, but I can take my camera gear and a lot of stuff. That's what I like about traveling in a motor coach, is you can take the stuff you really need. If you're flying somewhere, you got to really choose what you can take and what you can't take, and it's a mess. So yeah, the way to go is the motor coach. Let's see. What is the first long travel that you would do with that? I think I just talked about that. Craig, you need to get yourself a motor coach, travel throughout the country, and host live Grand Seiko evangelism sermons outside of Rolex ADs. Hey, if Grand Seiko would hire me to do that, I'd probably be willing to do that, but they're too cheap. They wouldn't do it. So there's that. All right, folks. This has been fantastic. We're going to wrap this puppy up wrap it up, folks, and we'll see you all next month. It's coming right around the corner here. Next month at Steve's event. Links are in the YouTube description. Hey, click subscribe, click the bell. Click subscribe, make sure you click the bell. Thanks again, everybody.